What you habitually think shapes your subconscious mind. And here's the kicker. Your subconscious doesn't differentiate between what you genuinely believe and what you repeatedly tell yourself. Welcome to Your Creative Mind. I'm Izolda Trachtenberg, and this podcast is all about using your innate creativity and mindfulness to build a life you love. Whether it's through writing, music, dance, theater, or any creative pursuit, we'll explore how to tap into your unique potential to transform your work, relationships, and daily life. Through inspiring conversations with world-changing artists, entrepreneurs, and innovators, or actionable insights in my solo episodes, you'll learn how to focus your energy, ignite your creativity, and bring more joy and purpose to everything you do. Hey there, and welcome to the Your Creative Mind podcast. I am Izolda Trachtenberg. I'm your host, and thank you so much for being here. In this episode, I'm going to be diving into a topic that can make or break how you approach your life, your work, and the things that you're interested in. But before I go there, I bet I can figure out the person in your life you talk to the most without ever meeting you. Are you ready? Here we go. The person you talk to most in your life is you. I know it's cheesy, but it's true. Your thoughts provide you with a constant running monologue. They comment on everything from what you're eating to what you think of situations and people and ideas. And most of all, they comment on what you think of yourself. Sometimes those thoughts can take an oogie turn. Heck, sometimes they're nonstop icky. They make you doubt yourself, and sometimes they make you dislike or even hate yourself. And that, my friend, can be a tough way to live. But what if I told you there's a way to change that? What if I told you there's a simple way to shift your mindset and invite more creativity, more joy, and more connection into your life? Today, I'm going to be talking about the thoughts that run the show, those quiet but powerful beliefs shaping how you respond to challenges, opportunities, and relationships. Your thoughts, specifically those sneaky, negative thoughts that can quietly undermine your peace of mind, your joy, and even your creativity. In a previous episode, I talked about building awareness of your thoughts, being mindful of what's running through your mind on a regular basis. And we explored how this awareness is the first step to breaking free of patterns that just aren't serving you anymore. Today, I want to go even deeper. I want to look at how negative thoughts impact your subconscious, everyone's subconscious, how they shape our instincts and responses, and most importantly, how reframing them can transform both your inner and your outer world. You're going to learn how reframing negative thoughts can not only bring you peace, but also open doors to new possibilities. I think this episode is packed with some insights and some practical steps to help you build the foundation for a life filled with clarity and purpose. So I'm going to invite you to grab a notebook, and I want to get started on creating a mindset that works for you, not against you. So first, let's talk about negative thoughts and your subconscious mind. I'm going to start with a foundational truth. What you habitually think shapes your subconscious mind. And here's the kicker. Your subconscious doesn't differentiate between what you genuinely believe and what you repeatedly tell yourself. It's not sitting there and fact-checking anything. It's simply absorbing the messages you're feeding it and then guiding your instinctive actions from that foundation, from that place. And if the messages you're giving it are negative, I'm not good enough, or I'll never succeed, those thoughts become the building blocks of your instincts, your responses, and your choices. And here's where things become a little tricky. When the foundation is built on fear or doubt or negativity, your responses to life's joys and challenges are going to be colored by those same thoughts. You might find yourself shrinking back from opportunities, holding back your creativity, or feeling stuck in relationships or careers that no longer bring you fulfillment. Does that sound familiar? It's something to think about. And so now I want to talk about how to change all that. And it's really about the power of changing that inner monologue, the power of changing your thoughts. So let's flip it. Imagine replacing those negative messages with empowering, positive ones. Instead of "I'm not good enough," you might tell yourself, "I'm growing and improving every single day." That simple reframe doesn't just shift how you see yourself, it shifts how you show up in the world. And when you change the way you think, you change the way you view your life and the rest of the world. You interact differently with your friends, your family, your colleagues, and you respond to challenges with confidence rather than fear. Most importantly, I think you make better choices about how you spend your most precious resource, your time. If you want to spend your time truly living, fully, joyfully, and creatively, you have to look at the ingredients you're putting into the stew of your thoughts and feelings. What's happening in your interior world shapes everything else. So here's a way to make the whole process a little easier. I've created a downloadable document that lists 50 of the most common negative thoughts people have, along with their reframed and empowering counterparts. I want you to take a few minutes and download it, and the link is in the show notes, of course, and go through the list. Put a check mark next to the negative thoughts you recognize as the ones you have often. Then focus on their reframed versions. These are the tools that are going to help you shift your perspective and begin transforming your work, your interactions, and your life. Print the reframed thoughts that resonate most with you and maybe place them somewhere visible like daily reminders. I have Post-it notes all over my house reminding me about those small steps that I can take to make a really big difference. To help you get started, I'm going to share 7 of the most common negative thoughts that people have. And here's what I want you to do. As I read through them, see if any spark or a sense of recognition happens. In other words, have you thought these things before? If so, I want you to not worry. This is a judgment-free zone. Simply noticing them is a huge first step. And so after I read these negative thoughts, I'm going to reread them to you because I have to read them because I don't have them memorized. But I'm going to read them once, just the negative thoughts. And then I'm going to reread them with the reframed version of each thought so you can start to see what's possible when you shift that perspective. And I think that these thoughts also appear in the document, so they might be familiar when you download the document, but at least you'll start seeing how you can start changing some of these patterns. Are you ready? Here we go. Negative thought 1, I'm not good enough. Negative thought 2, I'll never succeed. 3, I always mess things up. 4, nobody cares about me. 5, I'm a failure. 6, life is too hard. 7, I'll never be happy. Did any of those resonate? Did they sound familiar like you might have thought them before? If so, you're about to hear them again, and they're reframes to help you start changing immediately some of the patterns that have been ingrained for so long. Negative thought 1, I'm not good enough. Reframe, I'm growing and improving every day. Negative thought 2, I'll never succeed. Reframe, success comes with persistence and effort. I'm going to keep going. Negative thought 3, I always mess things up. Reframe, mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow. Or as I like to say, make marvelous mistakes. Negative thought 4, nobody cares about me. Reframe, I have meaningful connections and I can nurture them further. Negative thought 5, I'm a failure. Reframe, failing at something doesn't make me a failure. It's a step towards success. Negative thought 6, life is too hard. Reframe, life has challenges, but I am resilient and I can face them. Negative thought 7, I'll never be happy. Reframe, happiness can be found in small daily moments. So, as I said a minute ago, did any of these feel familiar? If so, I'm going to encourage you to take 1 or 2 of the reframe thoughts and repeat them to yourself 3 times. Better yet, as I said, write them down and put them somewhere you're going to see them daily. Your bathroom mirror, your desk, or even set them as a reminder on your phone. These small, consistent changes are going to start to rewire your subconscious and shift your perspective over time. So, shifting those negative thoughts, it isn't an overnight process, but with practice and persistence, it's totally possible. And when you do start seeing that shift, you're going to be amazed at how much lighter, how much more joyful, and how much more creative your life becomes. Remember, every thought you reframe is a step toward peace, possibility, and abundance. And if that's not a good life, I don't know what is. So if you're ready to take this journey even further and want some personalized support, I'm here to help. Reach out to me and let's explore how we can work together to transform your thoughts and create a life you love. And aren't you worth it? I think you are. So this is Izolda Trachtenberg for the Your Creative Mind podcast. I'm really glad that you joined me for this episode. The worksheet is going to be linked off the show notes, so I invite you to grab that and look at all 50 negative thoughts and their reframes to see how you can change some things for the better in your life. And, I wanted to remind you a couple of things. This is super exciting. I just found out about this. The New York State of Crime, Sisters in Crime anthology that I am in, well, not me personally, but my story, The Celestial Queen, just got awarded as a finalist in the 2025 Derringer competition. So that is so exciting for me. I've never gone this far in anything like that. So kudos to the other authors, and D.M. Barr and Joseph R.G. DeMarco are the editors of this anthology. Yes. So it is New York State of Crime is a Derringer finalist, which is really amazing. And I'm thrilled to pieces about that. And I want to also remind you that the very first episode of my super fabulous new project, and it's not just me, I'm working with a group of incredibly talented theater people, playwrights, actors, and hopefully eventually directors and things like that, because this is all about eventually me having a theater company. But I'm starting this really cool, great new project called the Your Creative Table Read, and that premieres this coming Friday. We're reading Brian Cern's fantastic piece, Beautifully So. And by we, I mean a group of talented actors is doing the acting and the stage directions in a table read, as if we were doing it for a bunch of Broadway producers. And if you're on here listening to this, you Broadway producer, you, or maybe if you're not a Broadway producer, but a producer of one sort or another, and you want to option this play, you can find Brian Cern's contact information in the show notes. He is the fantastic playwright who wrote this wonderful piece. And you will also get to hear Leela Olson and Brian Wallace and Alan Fessenden do their roles brilliantly. It was super exciting to be part of this, to be here as this play was read aloud for the very first time. And it always changes you. If you're a writer of any sort, a screenplay writer, a playwright, or an author, hearing your work read aloud changes it for you. You get to see so many more colors and so many more textures in hearing the interpretation of your work by other people than you would or than you do if you are sitting alone in your room typing on your keyboard. So it is incredibly helpful for the playwright. And of course, it puts more art out into the world, which you know is always something that's going to gladden my heart. Alrighty then, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, I'd love it if you'd buy me a cup of coffee. Buymeacoffee.com/IzoldaT, I believe is how you do it. The link is in the show notes. If you want to support the show, I would love it. It would mean the world to me to hear from you and also to have your support so that I can keep bringing more art, creativity, and ways to elevate your thinking, elevate your process, elevate your life, and elevate your creativity to you week after week. This is Izolda Trachtenberg for the Your Creative Mind podcast, reminding you to always create and leave it better than you found it. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. Please subscribe to the podcast if you're new, and it would mean the world to me if you told a friend about it. Today's episode was produced by Izolda Trachtenberg and is copyright 2025. As always, please remember this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Past performance does not guarantee future results, although we can always hope.